Howdy, folks. Today I just wanted to do a little quick video on like my top four sets, and they're not only my top four sets. I'm going over these because a bunch of my friends and folks that have watched my videos have bought these headphones and given me some comments and some feedback, and they have floated to the top. Now, these guys right here, we'll call these maybe not, but something like five people have got these that I know personally, and one of those five sold them immediately. Didn't like the bass on the RSV, Soft Ears RS5, reference sound 5, and that's probably because it's balanced armature bass. But the other folks that got the soft ears really enjoyed them, and over the last few days I've been getting some really good feedback, and they're hitting at least some people in the sweet spot like myself, and they love them to death, and I do too. So the EJ07, of course, everybody knows about these, but still, after all of this time, like a year later, folks are buying these and just being knocked over, completely knocked over. The bass, the mids, everything on these is just fantastical. And I'll just kind of compare a little bit, just talking about it. And then the oxygens, these are one dynamic driver. I think every audiophile should have one awesome or maybe two good dynamic driver sets, just to have a good reference for that. And these are my top, definitely top dynamic drivers over like the Sonys. I've got the KB Ear Believes, the Moondrop, like Knos Pros, all of that. The oxygens are the top for me on those. Soft Ears has actually got one called the Turi, these guys, and it's very expensive. It's $1,400, but oh my God, do I want it badly. Given how good the Soft Ears is, if I could get some dynamic driver magic out of them, that really appeals to me. But the oxygens, even just recently, some folks have gotten these, and they're every bit as good as people say. They have all of the right things and really none of the bad things in a headphone that you might want. And then, I don't own these. These are the 64 Audio U12T, but my God, are these nice. And every time I listen to them, they really do hit me in a very nice, sweet spot. I wouldn't use these for reference mixing or anything like that, but for just music enjoyment, man, these guys are really sick. And like I said, I don't own them. Maybe one day I will, if I can get a good deal on them. But I just wanted to go over these guys right here. Out of all the stuff I've tried, these have really floated to the top. And like if we compare, let's compare the EJ07 to the RSV, because probably a lot of folks want to know maybe what I think about that. And these are both my favorites. All of these are my favorites for different reasons. So if we were saying that the EJ07 would be something like, let's say we're listening to a band in a venue, and you would be right there. So you're getting the raw sound from, the PA, the instruments, whether it's live sound or just going through a PA. These will be sounding very much like you're actually there. It's a very raw tonality, not super polished, but it's got a visceral live quality to these that is just fantastic and really very unique compared to everything else I've ever tried. Probably because they peak so high in the mids, but the treble on these is not lacking as long as you run some good volume on them. So if you compare that to the RSV reference sound 5, the reference sound 5 would be like the same sound, but let's say going through the mixing board and then adding all of the polish that a mix would want to have. So maybe a little extra sparklies. It's hard to put that into definitive words, but I hear these as being more of a polished mix sound, and these is the EJ07 as being a more raw live type of sound. Then if we compare the oxygens, they are, God, I mean, maybe somewhere in the middle of these guys. A lot of like nice mixed quality to the sound, but also a raw tonality, very warm, wide. And then the 64 audios are quite unique as well, kind of an EJ unique sort of lit. I haven't really heard anything else that sounded like them. They have an extraordinary amount of reverb and spatial qualities to them. All balanced armatures, but the bass on these is just really excellent. if we talk about the bass on the Reference Sound 5, I really swear, man, and some of my friends got these. I mean, they agree the bass is amazing. Most people, but as soon as you go down below maybe 35 hertz, there really is not a lot of energy there. So if you're listening for that sort of air slam that those dynamic drivers give you, these might not do all of that you want. But for me, for 95% of music, mostly stuff that's not going to be super bass emphasized and like the star of the track, like so low sub bass. I've got a couple tracks like that. Please insert my username by what is that, Cat Corp or something? Hang on. Just trying to find the tracks. You have some idea of what I'm talking about. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's Cat Corp. And that track is mostly bass. So, for instance, on the RSV, you may hear a little less slam than some of the other sets, but I just wanted to go over this. I mean, God, everything else on these is so perfect. And I didn't rate the bass perfect on these, but I did rate it really, really good, and I really feel like that's accurate. So, whatever. That's the way I hear things. Out of all these sets, the Oxygens are by far the lowest cost. You might be able, I've seen them, the pricing being around $200 these days. And I'm telling you, man, $200, you guys got to get these things. Everyone that's got them has come back to me and said they were absolutely just their favorite, like, of the day. But geez, man, I haven't heard any bad things about these Oxygens except the fit. And of course, I've got these like long 3-flange tips on there that the bores are tiny or short, but they're not like tiny anyways. But you can make them work, and you got to do what you got to do to make them work. But these are worth making them work, and for the price, let's say you get them for 200. That's the best I've ever heard for 200. There's no question. They're the price performance kings of everything I've ever heard. And if you want to compare to the Bolano 3, yeah, I like these a lot better. But the Bolano 3 is it's kind of like my low bar, like as in price, but also good performance. But I didn't bring them out. I don't listen to those. If you compare the Blonde to the Oxygens, it's just like, nah, Oxygens win. The EJ07 still, after all this time, is still rocking people's worlds. And, if you're on the fence about getting the EJs, I would say do it. These provide a really excellent reference and also a good difference from a lot of just sort of normally tuned sets, if we want to call it that. Geez, I don't know. But yeah, so these 4 right here represent all the best I've heard and the ones I like the most out of everything I've ever heard. They may not rate the best in my IEM chart. I'm not going to pull that out right now, but I like them the best. So if that answers people's questions, then excellent. Out of all of these, if I had to take a pair that would cover all bases without having any downsides whatsoever, it will be the Oxygens. They have nothing wrong with them. They have all the bass, all the mids, all the treble. You can get picky about things, but there's no parts of this set that I think will make anyone ever unhappy about anything, maybe except the fit, but you could do that. You could figure that out. For the EJs, this may take a certain kind of person that would enjoy this, but still, after a year and some, these are still going strong. People love them. By the way, they did fix this ugly shell, so there's that. Reference Sound, they are just knocking my socks off, and I have to love them. They're as good as I've ever heard for any set. And all balanced armatures, and they're the best all balanced armature set except for the 64 audios, which are not quite as reference perfect as these guys, but like I said, musical wonderfulness. And I'm going on and on about this stuff, but yeah, this is my favorites. So all right, another video coming up soon. Thanks a lot.